specialist. So let's get straight into it. Last week, over the weekend, actually, the 2nd of November 2024, there was actually a daylight robbery in the heart of Accra. Adabraka, to be precise.
Yeah.
And these armed robbers actually made away with 6.2 million Ghana cedis, a staggering 6.2 million Ghana cedis. And a lot of questions have been raised, especially questions of public safety. But we actually have a story here on ChannelOne, ChannelOneNews.com. And let us just get straight into it. Eyewitnesses describe how Adabraka robbery unfolded. Let's get straight into it and we will talk about it. Armed robbers, numbering about 5, attacked a jewelry shop in Adabraka in Accra on November 2, 2024, sending shockwaves through the community. The armed robbers allegedly made away with 6.2 million Ghana cedis on Saturday, November 2. The armed robbers targeted a man in a red Toyota Corolla parked near the bustling market. While some of the assailants brandished weapons and fired shots into the air, others were seen transferring sacks of money from the victim's car into their getaway vehicle. And one person suffered severe injury. An eyewitness who spoke with ChannelOne TV stated, "I was at the back of our house doing something and heard some gunshots, but I knew it was knockout. As Christmas season approaches, of course, this is something they always hear during Christmas season. So I peeped through my window and I saw a man with a black mask, whom I warned that we don't urinate at the back of this house. And he shouted, 'Hey, madam, shut up.' And the tone was like that of a Nigerian. So quickly, I just closed the door and he gave a warning shot. When I came out, I saw that people were shouting. I saw the man holding some money and threw the money and gave a warning shot, and everybody rushed to take the money. Then he began walking majestically on the street," she stated. Another also stated, I was around the most, and then we saw a lot of people running. And when we turned, we saw a RAV4 blocking a Toyota Corolla. We don't know we didn't know what they were trying to do. And so they fired at the car tires, and suddenly they started giving warning shots. Then they started pulling the sacks of money from the Corolla into the RAV4. In fact, nobody got close to them because they were armed. We called the police because they were close. Most of us rushed to the station trying to come and face them, but they were not coming. But after the operation, they came around, but it was too late."
Yes, Chris.
Can we actually have the footage on screen, because you didn't get to see everything.
I saw just a snippet of it.
Just a snippet of it, yeah. So that's it there. And obviously that's the car that they attacked, and the driver had his hand up, you know.
I can speak to the footage that we're seeing if you want, Chris.
Yeah.
I saw bits of it, as I say, online when it happened, and when it was posted online. And I think what we need to do, community-wise, this thing happens. So let's understand that robbery happens. It's not peculiar, unfortunately. But I think the scale of it, and then the amount of money taken, is what has really made it a headline news.
Yes.
And then also what
and the operation,
broad daylight. You with your AK-47s or firearms and making people put their hands up. What can we do to, if you will, arrest the situation? It's the whole case of the community working together. These things happen. But again, you don't want the community to intervene where firearms are there. You've got to consider your safety first.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we can talk about. What can we do to mitigate, help? First and foremost, in terms of if there's no benefit, I'm talking the armed robbers, clearly they must know that this volume of cash was available. You know, that's the incentive on their part.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of jewelry stores within Adabraka. If you know Adabraka very well, it's not a unique retail outlet. There are several within the Adabraka enclave. what advice can we give to retailers?
Yeah.
Not just jewelry, but any other type.
Yeah.
As quickly as possible, you have to somehow vacate your monies and send them. That's why you have the bullion vans that we normally see.
Right.
They are private. They don't just belong to the Bank of Ghana.
Right.
The bullion vans are oftentimes private
So it's a
businesses.
service.
A service.
So that there you have them actually throwing the money into the air.
And I mean, that's a strategy to do what? Somehow prevent the crowds from rushing them.
Yeah.
It's a divergence tactic, and it works very well. But yes, I want to maybe, in my submission, Chris, encourage businesses, when you have large volumes, don't use your own staff to transport these things. Because sometimes they follow them, and it's insider knowledge. Use the services of bullion vans to periodically come and take your monies that you earned.
Right. But how available are the bullion vans or the services of bullion vans? How common are they?
They're very common. If you want, you can just Google it right now. You know, ask Siri, and they'll give a whole list within their crowd. I'm not saying they are everywhere, but remember, you don't take money out every single minute. Normally, it's maybe twice or 3 times a day.
Right.
You know, so they are there. They're able to meet the demand. You know, of retailers, and I think that's one of the main takeaways that I want to take. Having said that, though, Chris, I'm happy that we have a strong network of CCTV cameras, not just in Accra, right across the country. We've all seen them. The huge poles, the white poles, looks like lampposts, but you have the CCTV cameras there, and they work, they function, and they are networked. And I'm hoping that
they're
at
all
least
connected to
they're
each
all
other.
connected. They're all connected at the National Surveillance Center, one of which is behind the Accra International Conference Center. That's one center, and there are others dotted around the regions, whereby they connect and they can actually track and trace the vehicle and the personnel that were involved in this.
Right, right. But now, how do you respond to citizens who feel that their safety has been compromised due to the lack of police presence in that area? Especially for the fact that these citizens actually said they reached out to the police, but the police didn't want to come.
I can't speak to that. If you say they didn't want to come, I mean, how do you?
Well, that's what we just read.
I mean, how they didn't want. They said no, we're not coming.
They said
I find it.
They said that they actually refused to follow them until the robbers left. That's when they now came.
Well, I can't speak to that. It's not. It's not for my place to somehow. That means I'm arguing with them. They were there, and they're giving us that report. But I find it hard to believe, personally. We, since 2017, over 25,000 additional police personnel have been recruited within the service. Over 23,000. The motorbikes, over 5,000. I think 3 helicopters. And then patrol boats for the sea. I'm talking border patrol. I'm trying to give you the architecture of what government has done to make sure that security was a priority in our manifesto in 2012, 2016, 2020, and still in 2020. Right. And we're making good on that promise. You can never do enough where security is concerned. True. But for those citizens who were in Adabraka, said that the police didn't want to come until after the armed robbers, we have a very strong professional police service. Right. And I think we would do a disservice if we took a comment and made it as a general thing. Yeah. I find it difficult to believe, because we remember when we had a case of Melcom about 1.5 years ago in the North Industrial area. Again, daylight robbery, and the police were on hand there within minutes. So let's be fair to the police service. That's what I want to say in my submission. But that's not to say that we are discounting the reports of the citizens. Yeah. You know,
because that's their experience.
Yeah, that's the experience. Yeah. And if that is the case, that's the caveat. If that is the case, and of course we need to look at those police personnel who responded thus, if indeed that's the case, Chris.
Right, right. Okay, so joining us right now is Victor Kwajoga Adawudu, who is a member of the NDC Legal and Communication team. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm fine. And good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning to you, Victor.
So obviously we're having a conversation about the robbery that happened on the 2nd of November, that's Saturday, at Adabraka. In fact, the daylight robbery, where the armed robbers made away with 6.2 million Ghana cedis in broad daylight. And I'm sure you've seen some of the videos already.
Yeah, I've seen some of the video.
Right. So
Clearly, when I saw the video, I just said this was an insider trading. An insider who had, it was carefully planned.
that it will leave at this time.
Leave at this time, and there was a communication. So for me, the first thing the police will have to do is to take the driver and the other gentleman's phones. I'm sure when they clone it, because I believe that there was some communication. Why would the car, whilst they get into the car, they stayed for a period,
before leaving,
right? They won't move. They were there for a period, so that means that either there is a WhatsApp communication or said that look, we are about to move, something going on. Then you see, even when he just moved into the cab and the other, I think the Toyota came in, there was no attempt like even driving bypassing. The only thing you realize was he was reversing back. And you see, if you watch it carefully, the gentleman who was sitting at the passenger side had opened his door. He had opened the door. It was not that the robbers who opened the door. So I'm sure, you see, one thing about the Ghana Police Service is that if they are determined and purpose that they want to investigate and get to the root of the matter, they will do it.
Yeah.
If they decide that they don't want to do it, or it is linked to supposedly a big man, let me use my words carefully these days. Those days, some of the miscreants will hide behind the leadership or people who can cover them as insurance. So they do things and they believe that these are people we have sponsored in politics and the rest, and they will speak for us. But these days, we even see them themselves standing. They want to be seen. So until I believe that the police, there's nothing there that would tie their hand. The police can go after these people. I give you, within a week or two, they always know they have the informants, they know the criminals, they know where their hiding places are within every setting, and they know who should call, who will be called, that will give them the information that where is this your boy and boy. They know.
Right.
I can tell you on point that they have the informants, they know. It is only when they feel that they are being restrained that but with all that I have seen on this, I'm sure that the police will be able to give it to them.
Right.
I'm telling you, Ghana Police, unless there's that lackadaisical attitude, they don't want to do it because there's somebody somewhere who is pulling strings.
Right.
But if they are given their professional role to play as professionals, with this particular incident, I'm sure they should be able to bring them. And I think if you look at the whole thing, the robbery, you just realize that even the people, if it was real armed robbery, that it was a coincidence or it was not from inside raid, when they got there, they would have shot the tire of the vehicle to demobilize the vehicle and be able to pick that thing. But even when you realize the boot, when they realized someone was banging the boot and they realized he went in, they couldn't open the driver's spot. If you watch, the driver's spot was not open. They had to come through the passenger area to go and open the boot. Then they came back to, so all this tells you that no, this is a design. It's not by accident.
Right.
It was designed, and I'm sure that the police, once they put all the CCTV and the camera, they should be able, and when they call some of their informants,
they will find out.
They will find out.
Right, but this robbery has actually raised serious concern about, public safety and crime prevention in the city. How would your respective parties prioritize security? Because obviously we're getting into the elections. There has to be issues of prioritizing security too. Because this, obviously, we have seen and definitely will actually, it will have a ripple effect if nothing happens. It will motivate others to do the same if nothing happens. So now how are your respective parties going to handle security, say, whoever wins?
Sure. Let me quickly respond to that, Chris. I mentioned in my earlier submission what the government has been doing since 2017. When you fail to recognize the linkage between digitalization
yeah.
and the economy and all its anchors, then really you don't deserve the mandate to lead the people. And I'll explain this. I'm talking to...
Is that a shade?
It's a big shade. It's a big shade to the flag bearer for the NDC, John Mahama, former president. It's a big shade to him. You asked the question, how are we prioritizing security? Look at the investment just within the CCTV cameras across the nation. I've been to all 16 regions. So it's not Accra-centered or Kumasi-centered or Cape Coast-centered. It's across the length and breadth of our great nation. What does that do? It allows us now to, one, give confidence to our communities. I don't have the figures with me, so I don't want to speak and pull figures out of the air. That's not how we should do our politics on the breakfast show. But you'll see that within our communities, the crime rate has decreased substantially because now there are eyes on the community.
Right.
Just come out here before you get to, what do you call it, the Fidelity Bank, just there. And this is by and large a residential area. Semi-urban residential. There are CCTV cameras around. What this tells robbers, Chris, is that there are eyes here. Let me look elsewhere.
Let me go elsewhere.
Let me go elsewhere. That's a government NPP policy looking to utilize the electronic ecosystem that we have, digitalization to help security. Then, in terms of about boots on the ground, I mentioned the figures, and you can compare them. Over 23,000 personnel properly recruited within the police service alone. And I haven't come to the military, the prisons, fire service, who all work in a collaborative manner to help do what? Secure our homes and our borders. Then you look at the pay, remuneration for the police service personnel. When we came to office in 2017, one of the cardinal anchors was that we have to make sure that the police were properly compensated for doing what? Men and women who put their lives on the line for we the Ghanaians 24 hours a day. If you want a real 24 hours economy, look to what we're doing for the police. They work 24 hours and we have proper... When was the last time you heard about the police going on strike? We had it in 2011 and 2013. I'm talking about the police agitating, Chris, for increased labor. As I'm talking, Google it. 2011, 2013. Why wasn't the government then, NDC government, properly paying them? When we came, we said we have to make sure that you're paid. Come to the military because they all work in the same architecture. Now they get there, I think it's like $60 per day. Those who are in Lebanon or Congo or South Sudan, and they get their money directly. There used to be a case, Chris, when the military, because the money comes from the United Nations. It's part of your per diem. And that money was given to high-ranking officers, and then later it was removed. About find one way here. You know, they sip some of the soup and give the rest to the soldiers. We stopped that from 2017 and made sure that you, the soldier, on armed duty or service duty outside our jurisdiction, you are paid your dollars directly. What does that do? It motivates you. That, hey, I've got a government who is supporting me because I could be dying in the Congo or Lebanon or South Sudan, and at least financially, what I'm due, I'm getting from this government. Helicopters, 3, I'm talking back to the police now. Border patrols, I don't have the number, so I don't want to say a number, then somebody will fact check me and say, oh, Ibrahim, you're lying. But I think in excess of 4 patrols for our border, in addition, to make sure that our border patrols, you know, to again, mitigate the patrolling that is now, thankfully, a thing of the past. So our fisheries are more secure. So these are the elements that I want to give you my submission. We're making sure that there's motivation from the police, well-trained, well-resourced, well-equipped, and there's a transparent promotion system, you know, within, or appraisal system, so that all of these things combine to make sure you have a workforce who is motivated and dedicated. And then for the citizenry, you make sure that you do what? You give them the infrastructure, the CCTV cameras and the bobbies on the beat, the police on the corners, at the intersections, giving you that visibility.
And our street lights.
And yes, really, yes. It's an important part. These are all the things that the MPP, Dr. Mohamed Bambami wants to upscale all of these things and making sure that we present to Ghanaians a service of leadership, a service of bold solutions to meet the demands of Ghanaians.
Right.
And this is why Ghanaians, as I mentioned yesterday, I was in Osabu Kojo, I was in Zone 17, Lejakuku, I came down to Aboma Nursery, then I came down to Sea Lady, and I want to thank the community there who explained to me and others present with me what their concerns are, what their appreciations are, because then we use that information to now come back and deliver a service. And God willing, inshallah, we'll continue to add value to Ghanaians, because what Ghanaians want is a hand up, not a hand out.
Right.
They want jobs, because when you create the jobs as well, from a security point of view, they say idle hands make what? Is it tools for the devil?
Yes,
So
idle
you're
hands actually tools for the devil.
Yeah, so you're creating over 2.1 million jobs since 2017 within that, let's say, economic ecosystem that we have. It's not good saying that I'm going to create more jobs, more security, more police, if the underlying reasons for theft and robbery and any deviant activity is not addressed. And so the MPP is addressing that 2.1 million jobs. Dr. Mohamed Bawi, I know we'll speak about in the next section. Now the agenda, and it's a well laid out plan to create 4 million jobs for the youth. And when we get to that section, hopefully I can speak to it.
you can speak about
when
it.
you do these things, Chris, you give confidence to the community, and we work together with the police to reduce crime and uplift our economic conditions.
Victor.
You know, when you were summonizing, I was just looking at it. My friend Ibrahim was just summonizing. Alice, you were talking about security.
Yes.
You see, when it comes to security of the nation, that's why sometimes we don't want to politicize it like the way it's been done now as to recruitment and the rest. Because it is a serious issue. And with intelligence. And that is why even mostly, if you see the security budgets, it doesn't come to the public, apart from in camera where the committees and the security agencies, they sit, they look at their budget, and they have an uncountable impress because of some of the exigencies that happened. It's a continuum, right? It's a continuum. When it comes to security, look, without security, we are not safe. We are not saving the country. So everybody looks at it. And when you look at it, that is why the NDC sees that, look, with the 24-hour economy, when we do it, we need almost about 25,000 personnel for the police. We need more than that to add. That would reduce also unemployment. When you look at it, he said the police went on strike and the rest. No. From 2009, it was the NDC government that introduced the single spine. The police, for the first time, there was jubilation. They were happy. The military were happy. The other agencies were happy with the single spine. It is the single spine that has been in, nothing has been changed about that. But, you see, we need to motivate them. They are working. Like the CCTV that it's saying, this is a new technology. Technology evolves. And once technology evolves, we look at what comes best. And you have to lay it with the infrastructure, like the Accra data center, where they started. This is where all the CCT, other things feeds into. Are you getting? So technology makes it that we can see in real time what is happening. And I can tell you that some of the informants and the rest, the kind of communication gadgets that are being provided for them, people will not know, right? So they are able to also capture and tell you within the community, because they've been planted all over in the community. And these are some of the things that it is sometimes a bit difficult when you are discussing security, what has to be done or what is being done. Because once you discuss it, then the miscreants within the society also become sophisticated.
Yeah, and they become aware of what's
yes, they become
going on.
aware and they become very sophisticated in things that they do. But I can assure you that security of this nation is paramount to everybody, every government, every leader who wants to come.
Right.
And security is there. You see, like he was saying, motivation, you need to motivate the people. You don't demotivate them. unlike in 2020, the police salary was increased before elections. So they were so happy. Some had, look, I'm telling you a real story. Some had even gone to apply for loan on the basis of the increment they have done. Only after election, that money has to be taken off. That money, it's real. Ask any of them. That money, they said it was an increment. Then while you've been paid a month or two, then just after election, it has been withdrawn.
Since when?
Oh, 2020. Just ask any policeman.
I'm asking you.
2020.
Okay.
2020. This is what happened to them. So, you see, we don't want to demotivate them. That's why we are saying that when we come, let's look at meritocracy. Yes, the police service, I think at the council, you can, on recommendation, based on personal achievements, what you have contributed, personal quota to this, you can be promoted. But when it is 1-2 off many times, that people within the same course, some have been jumped even twice ahead of their colleagues.
Yeah.
Some have even been brought down. Yes, there's no, you see, you cannot say that you won't be impartial. I don't believe that people are not impartial, but you can be objective. You have biases. You are leaned towards somebody. You have a soft spot for somebody. But once you are objective and the fact speaks to it, I think that people will be happy. I just pray and know that what we are hearing, it is not so. Or we find a way to do, because of the kind of division, the kind of bitterness between, even within the services, because people feel that they've not been treated well, or somebody has been promoted above him. You know, it happens, but the proportion at which it is now, it's something dangerous for us. That I believe that the next government, which is the NDC government that will come in, will be able to look at it as a whole. I always ask that it is time sometimes you tap the wisdom and the rich experience of the retirees, the senior military police officers, how things should be done, how things were done, or how did they do it. I think that we need that. Those days you get into some of the services and all the people, excuse my language, are in the service. They think that it is they use the uniform to intimidate, to extort money from people. You know, they say that, look, yes, I'm in the uniform. I'm in the, this is about the Ghana. So when Ghana speaks, I'm Ghana, I'm speak. When I speak, you have to obey. They don't even want to listen to you. You know, those are things that we are looking to streamline and make sure. I don't want this to look like we are politicizing it.
Right.
But I think that they have to be motivated. And that's what I've told you. That those days, right? People, now you see some of the miscreants, they want to take picture with you. They are with this leader. When something happens, he calls the leader will say, oh, he's our boy. Can you do something about it? That is why. And you know, sometimes the security intelligence, they are left with nothing to do. They know the issues, they know what happens, but they're also thinking about their. And you see, the other part of it is that when it happens like that, the family, even your friends, will be telling you, be careful, you just leave these issues, let sleeping dogs lie, so that your family will be preserved. But why will you do this? And your family is also putting pressure. So I think it is something we need to have a dialogue. Call the senior people, what is happening now. Everybody needs help. It gets to a point, they need help. And if we need help for our security people to have that security like they did, now we have a national security policy that we go about. Sensitize and fertilize all the issues that will come with, then we know how far we can go about it.
Right. All right. So on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue the discussion. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news review segment, and we were having some very interesting conversations, especially around the daylight robbery that happened on the 2nd of November, 2024. And we actually have some messages from the viewers. Good morning to you and your guests, especially lawyer Kwajogam. Ghanaians are not safe today as compared to 9 years ago. Why has government failed to find the murderers of armed swelling? And the rep of MPP shouldn't tell us that the government has done it in the last 7 years without facts. He should tell us where the cameras the vice president promised to fix on the uniform of the police are. This is from Sammy inside Hole. And another one says the daylight robbery was rather unfortunate. And another one says they have been tracked. Yes, there are some footage of the CCTV going on around where we see the number of the plate on the car. Anyway, so do you have any response to that?
Regarding?
What?
The body cams?
Yes, the body cams.
The body cams are there. It's not everywhere.
Right.
One thing I do, and I think, and I appreciate Victor and yourself for this, anytime we engage, I've never really come across Victor pulling facts out of thin air. You mentioned something, I didn't query. I said,
right.
Who said that? You said the police said that. Later I'll check it. What we have to recognize when we come on this show, and it's a privilege, Chris, to be here to help navigate the issues and give our opinions. The moment you tell a lie, willingly, deliberately, you'll be found out before the show finishes.
Exactly.
So to the best of my, I'm talking me personally,
Right.
and same with Victor, you see in his submission, we speak what we know. The body cams, I think it's 2022 or 2021, and it's so easy for police personnel. A significant number of body cams are in situ on police personnel. On the CCTV cameras, the figures are 11,000 individual CCTV cameras
Around the country.
nationwide. 11,000. You divide that by 16 regions, or divide that by 275 constituencies, and it'll give you the aggregate. We are working. NPP is working, and as Victor said, change is coming. We are changing. Nanado Dankwa Kufado for Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So you're right.
And change is
and
possible.
Change, it is possible. Batande, change is possible.
The change is
It's about having
but
a possibility mindset. That's what distinguishes Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia from John Mahama.
Right.
It's like I can do instead of I can't, and we can do this.
No,
we can do this.
Yeah, we are watching,
Yes.
and Ghanaians
Ghana
are
is
watching.
working.
All Ghanaians want is that change should come, and that change is
You're
coming
seeing
with
it.
John Mahama. But before, quickly, let me put it. I think a soldier has just drawn my attention. He said the money that is given to the peacekeepers is not the $60 a day.
What did he say?
That he said,
What
but
did he
he
say?
mentioned a figure. I don't want to put it
but you
on.
see-
What you should put out there.
I don't want to put it out there, but
yeah.
I'll show you the message.
No, I'm saying.
What he's saying is that, sometimes those are confidential issues. Somebody's pay, what it takes, and the rest are confidential issues. You don't want to put it there. You put it there in the domain, people think that, they are making money. And the pressure that comes on them.
So-
but he said it is not the $60.
Victor, let me help
it's far
you.
lower
Than $60.
Victor, let me help you, please, if I can. Let me contribute to what you're saying. One, you're not mentioning his name, so you're not exposing the gentleman or lady. You said a soldier. It could be either man or woman. This information is public knowledge. It's not confidential. Come on, it's from the source is the United Nations.
Yes.
Let's understand the source of the funding. It's United Nations.
So is
peacekeeping.
it United Nations that pays it directly into
Yes.
their account, or it's paid to?
No, it comes
some
to
coffers?
government. It comes to government, and then government disperses it.
Okay.
So
Yes,
please,
and they are
so if-
dispersed. What they are giving is $35.
so just,
It's not $60.
I'm coming. So say that.
Yes.
Then we can interrogate it. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying.
Yes.
So there's
So-
you don't have to
Hide it.
hide it.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding it. It's just.
But he's just
because-
trying to protect.
Sure. No, but you're not protecting.
Not protect the person, but protect soldiers per se.
No,
in the
but-
sense that when you put this out there,
But it's-
people begin to think, oh, okay,
People
you're making a lot of
I'm
money.
coming.
Yes.
But Victor, so we don't get sidetracked. That information is public knowledge.
Yes.
So who are you hiding it from? It's like Ghanaians can't Google for themselves.
Right.
Come on.
No, but
But
still
let's
at $60.
go back to so we can.
Yeah.
All right.